Your discipline builds your future. Welcome to Clartify.
What focus really is. Focus is not a talent. It's not a gift you're born with. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained, strengthened, and mastered. Most people think focus is just paying attention, but real focus is something much deeper. Focus is the ability to start a task without hesitation, stay on it without drifting, and finish it without breaking your momentum. It's the discipline of controlling your mind before your mind controls you. A lot of people wake up every day with the intention to be productive, but their mind immediately scatters into 100 directions. A thought here, a notification there, a worry, a memory, a distraction, and suddenly the entire day is gone. They didn't lose the day because they were lazy. They lost it because they had no ability to hold their attention still. A wandering mind is the silent killer of productivity. It drains your energy, weakens your clarity, and makes even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Think about it. How many times did you sit down to work on something important, only to catch yourself scrolling, daydreaming, overthinking, or jumping from one task to another? You didn't choose to lose focus. Your unfocused mind chose for you. Your brain was never trained to stay still, so it runs everywhere except where you need it. But here's the truth. Most people don't know. Your mind is not supposed to naturally focus. Your mind is supposed to survive, not focus. Survival means scanning for danger, distraction, noise, movement, stimulation. That's why your attention jumps. That's why your mind drifts. It's wired to look for everything except the one thing you're trying to do. Real focus begins the moment you train your brain to hold its attention on a single target. At first it feels difficult, almost impossible, because your mind is used to moving without control. But the more you practice, the more powerful your focus becomes. Just like lifting weights strengthens your muscles, holding your attention strengthens your mind. When you are focused, something incredible happens. Time slows down. Your thoughts become sharper. You stop thinking in circles. Your brain becomes a laser, clean, precise, sharp. You move through tasks faster, with more clarity, and with far less stress. You get more done in 1 hour of deep focus than most people do in an entire day of scattered effort. Focus gives you something you probably haven't felt in a long time. Control. Control over your thinking. Control over your actions. Control over your results. And control over your life. But before you can master focus, you need to understand the first great truth. You cannot focus on everything. You must choose what deserves your attention, because your focus is your life. Whatever you give attention to grows. Whatever you ignore weakens. Whatever you concentrate on becomes your reality. This brings us to your aha moment. Your focus is shaped by your choices, not your abilities. You get to decide what matters and what doesn't. The moment you choose the target, your mind begins to align. The moment you choose the priority, your focus begins to sharpen. The moment you choose the direction, everything else becomes noise. So here's your action step for today. Pick one thing, only one, that matters most right now. Not 10 things, not 5 things, just one. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it the anchor of your day. Then give it 10 minutes of full, undivided attention. No phone, no distractions, no switching. 10 minutes of pure focus. Do this daily. These 10 minutes are not about the task. They are about training your brain to stay still, to not wander, to not escape, to obey you. Over time, these 10 minutes will become 20, then 30, then a full hour of deep focus. And once you reach that level, your productivity, your clarity, and your entire life will transform in ways you never imagined. But focus alone isn't enough, not if your mind keeps getting pulled in 1,000 directions. In the next lesson, you'll learn about the hidden cost of a scattered mind and why your loss of focus is draining your energy without you realizing it. Don't miss Lesson 2. This is where the transformation truly begins. The cost of a scattered mind. A scattered mind is one of the most expensive things a person can live with. Not financially, but mentally, emotionally, and energetically. When your mind jumps from idea to idea, task to task, thought to thought, something heavy begins to happen inside you. You lose the ability to think clearly. You lose the ability to stay present. You lose the ability to finish what you start. A scattered mind does not destroy you suddenly. It destroys you silently. Every time your focus breaks, you pay a price. A small drop in energy, a small drop in clarity, a small drop in confidence, a small drop in momentum. You don't notice it at first. It feels normal, scrolling here, checking notifications there, thinking about 10 things at once, switching between tasks every minute. But over days, weeks, and months, this scattered pattern becomes your mental default. And once your mind gets used to being scattered, it becomes nearly impossible to hold your attention steady. The truth is simple. A scattered mind cannot build a focused life. The human brain was never designed to handle constant switching. Every time you jump from one thought to another, your brain loses a little bit of power. It has to reset, refocus, reorganize. That process drains energy fast. That's why you feel tired without doing anything. That's why you procrastinate even when you're not busy. That's why everything feels mentally heavy. This is why some people wake up already exhausted. Their mind has been open all night, spinning in 1,000 directions. When your mind is scattered, you also lose the ability to make good decisions. Decision fatigue hits faster. You get overwhelmed easier. You question yourself more often. You lose trust in your thinking. You start avoiding tasks because your brain feels overloaded before you even begin. A scattered mind leaves no space for clarity, and without clarity, you cannot focus. And without focus, you cannot move forward. But here's the part most people never realize. Distraction is not just an external problem. It is an internal habit. Your mind learned to jump because you trained it, unintentionally. Every time you checked your phone for no reason, every time you opened multiple tabs, every time you switched tasks without finishing, every time you let your thoughts wander freely, you were teaching your brain one powerful rule: stay scattered. That's why you can't hold your attention still. Your mind is obeying the training you gave it. But there is a turning point. One moment where everything shifts. You begin to notice what your mind is doing. You notice how fast it jumps. You notice how quickly it escapes. You become aware of the chaos inside. That awareness is the first step to reclaiming your power. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You can't pretend that your scattered mind is harmless anymore. You can't pretend that distraction is normal. You can't pretend that you can live your best life with your worst focus. Here's your aha moment. A scattered mind is not a weakness. It is a habit, and habits can be changed. You can retrain your brain to stay still. You can rebuild your attention. You can regenerate your clarity. You can restore your focus. But before we fix anything, you need today's action step. Spend just 5 minutes in silence. No phone, no music, no noise. Just you sitting, breathing, noticing your mind. Watch how it jumps. Watch how fast it escapes. Watch how it refuses to stay still. Don't fight it, just observe it. Those 5 minutes will show you the truth. Your mind has been running without control for years. And awareness is how you start taking that control back. This is not meditation. This is diagnosis. Because you can't fix what you can't see. And in the next lesson, you'll discover the real enemy, how distraction hijacks your brain chemically, and why your mind keeps escaping even when you want to focus. Don't miss lesson 3. It's the key that explains everything. The distraction versus concentration. Distraction is not an accident. It is a system designed to break your focus. Every sound, every notification, every pop-up, every vibration is built for one goal: steal your attention. And the moment your attention is stolen, your concentration collapses. Most people don't realize how powerful distraction is because it feels so small, so harmless. But distraction kills your focus the same way water erodes rock, slowly, silently, constantly. Every time your focus breaks, you lose more than a second. You lose momentum. And momentum is the heart of concentration. When you're focused, your brain enters a state where everything becomes smoother, easier, faster, sharper. You understand things quicker. You think deeper. You stay present. But when distraction hits, even for a moment, your brain gets kicked out of that state. You fall out of concentration, and returning to it takes far more energy than people think. Science shows that after a distraction, the brain can take up to 20 minutes to recover full focus, even if the distraction lasted 10 seconds. 10 seconds in the real world can cost you 20 minutes inside your mind. This is why your day disappears. Not because the work is hard, not because you're lazy, but because your concentration is constantly being reset. Distraction is not a moment, it is a chain reaction. One notification leads to one check leads to one scroll leads to another thought, and suddenly you're gone. Your mind isn't with you anymore. You're physically present but mentally scattered. And the worst part? Your brain starts to crave these micro-distractions, because every distraction gives you a tiny hit of dopamine, a little spark of pleasure. Your brain learns, why stay focused when I can get instant stimulation? So it pulls you toward the fastest, brightest, noisiest thing it finds. This is the trap. Distraction feels good in the moment but destroys your concentration long-term. Concentration feels difficult in the moment, but builds your mind long-term. Here's the truth. You cannot rely on willpower to win against distraction. You cannot fight an army of apps, notifications, dopamine loops, and mental habits with motivation. You need a strategy. And the first strategy is understanding this. Your brain cannot multitask. It can switch tasks, but every switch kills your focus a little more. Multitasking is just rapid task switching, and the cost is enormous. Every switch drains mental energy. Every switch weakens memory. Every switch lowers concentration. Every switch increases stress. This constant switching is why your mind feels overloaded even when you did nothing important. You are draining your mental battery faster than you can recharge it. Now here comes the aha moment. Distraction is not about your phone. It's not about social media. It's not even about the outside world. Distraction begins inside your mind. Your mind distracts you with thoughts, worries, memories, future plans, overthinking, micro-anxiety. Even in a silent room, your mind will create noise if it's not trained for concentration. So here's your action step for today. Choose one task. Only one. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. Close all tabs except the one you need. And focus, purely, intensely, for those 10 minutes. At first, your brain will scream for distraction. It will beg for stimulation. It will try to escape the discomfort of stillness. But stay with it. Those 10 minutes are not for the task. They are for training your concentration. If you can hold 10 minutes today, you can hold 15 tomorrow, 20 the next day, and soon you will reach deep focus, the state where your mind feels powerful, controlled, and sharp. In the next lesson, you'll learn how deep focus actually works inside the brain and how entering a deep work state can make you 5 times more productive with half the effort. Lesson 4 is where everything changes. Don't miss it. Deep focus is not luck, and it's not talent. It is a biological state your brain enters when certain conditions are met. A mental zone where distractions disappear, your clarity sharpens, and your productivity increases more than 5 times. Most people never enter this state because their brain is constantly switching, scanning, and reacting. But once you understand how deep focus works inside the brain, everything changes, because you no longer try to force focus, you create it. Your brain has 2 modes, scattered mode and focus mode. Scattered mode is when your attention jumps, your thoughts drift, and your energy drains. Focus mode is when you feel fully present, powerful, and mentally sharp. You've experienced it before, those rare moments when you were so absorbed in a task that time disappeared. That state is deep focus, also called flow. Inside deep focus, your brainwaves shift. your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for complex thinking, becomes fully active. Your dopamine levels rise just enough to give you motivation, but not too high to distract you. Every part of your mind aligns toward one direction. The noise fades. The stress fades. The confusion fades. Only the task remains. But here's the truth that nobody tells you. Your brain cannot enter deep focus by accident. It requires the right conditions. The first condition is clarity. A confused mind cannot focus deeply. If your brain doesn't know exactly what you're supposed to do, it will search for distraction. Deep focus requires one target, a clear, specific task your brain can lock onto. The moment you choose a single objective, your mind begins to align. The second condition is reduced noise, not just external noise, internal noise. Even if your room is silent, your mind can still be loud. Thoughts pulling you everywhere, worries, ideas, memories, mental clutter. When your inner world is chaotic, your brain cannot stay in deep focus. You have to reduce the internal noise by limiting inputs, closing tabs, removing visual clutter, and breathing deeply before starting. The third condition is uninterrupted time. Deep focus needs time to build. It doesn't happen instantly. For the first minutes, your brain is warming up, clearing space, gathering energy. But if something interrupts you during this warm-up, you fall out of the zone, and you have to restart the process again. This is why multitasking kills deep focus. It resets your brain over and over until you can't enter flow at all. The fourth condition is immersion. You must enter the task with your full attention, not half in, half out. When you truly immerse yourself, your brain begins producing stronger connections. This is where the magic happens. You think deeper, understand faster, remember better, and create smarter solutions. This is why deep focus is the superpower of high performers. The final condition is rhythm. Deep focus grows in waves. There is a moment where your mind locks in, the point where everything becomes easier. Once you cross that point, your brain stops fighting you. It stops looking around. It stops resisting. It cooperates. This is the moment where your mind finally becomes a tool, not an enemy. So here's your aha moment. Deep focus is not something you try harder to achieve. It's something you prepare your brain for. And here's today's action step. Before working on anything important, create a deep focus ritual lasting 60 seconds. Put your phone in another room. Close all tabs except the one you need. Clear your desk. Take one slow breath in. Exhale fully. Choose one task. Start a 20-minute timer. This ritual tells your brain it's time to focus, and your brain listens. Over time, this ritual becomes automatic. Your mind enters deep focus faster, stays longer, and produces better results with less effort. This is how you begin to access your peak mental performance, not through pressure, but through preparation. In the next lesson, you'll discover how to build your focus muscle, how to strengthen the brain's stamina, and how to hold your attention longer without mental fatigue. Lesson 5 will give you the exercises that transform your focus from weak to unstoppable. Don't miss it. Your focus is a muscle, and just like any muscle in the body, it becomes stronger when you train it and weaker when you ignore it. Most people think they lack focus because they lack discipline. But the real problem is that their brain has no stamina. The moment a task becomes slightly difficult, their mind escapes. It's not weakness. It's simply an untrained attention span. Think of your focus like physical strength. If someone who never exercised tries to lift heavy weights, of course it will feel impossible. Their muscles aren't ready. The same is true for your mind. If you've spent years jumping from distraction to distraction, then trying to focus for even 5 minutes will feel uncomfortable. Your brain isn't used to staying still. It's used to running. But here's the good news. Attention can grow. You can build mental stamina. You can strengthen your ability to stay with a task longer, deeper, and with more clarity. And the moment your focus starts growing, your entire life levels up. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to focus for hours. They try to force their brain into long sessions, and when it doesn't work, they feel like failures. But the truth is, Focus grows the same way strength grows, through small, consistent repetitions. You don't start by lifting 100 kilos. You start with the bar, then you add weight slowly. Just like that, you build your capacity. Your mind works the exact same way. You start small, tiny focus sessions, then you scale them up. This is how you break years of distraction habits. Here's the simple rule: short focus, short break, repeat. This trains your brain to stay present without overwhelming it. The biggest enemy of focus is not difficulty, it's boredom. When your brain is untrained, even simple tasks feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is what makes you escape, not the task itself. The escape becomes a habit. The habit becomes your default. And then you start believing something is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. Your brain simply needs reps. When you repeat small focus sessions, you build the attention pathways in your mind. Each rep strengthens your ability to stay engaged. Each rep reduces the urge to escape. Each rep increases your tolerance for mental discomfort. Slowly, your brain learns a new truth. Staying is easier than running, and that's when everything changes. Tasks that used to feel heavy start becoming manageable. Projects that felt overwhelming start becoming possible. Your mind stops fighting you and starts working with you. Here is today's action step. The exercise that builds the focus muscle faster than anything else. Choose one task. Set a 10-minute timer. Focus fully. When it ends, take a 2-minute break. Repeat this cycle 3 times. This creates a 36-minute session of controlled focus. Not too long for your brain, not too short to be ineffective. This is the sweet spot, the place where your brain grows stronger. Do this daily and you will feel the difference in just 1 week. Your focus lasts longer. Your mind becomes quieter. Your thinking becomes sharper. And your productivity becomes effortless. In the next lesson, you will learn how to design an environment that makes focus automatic, a space where distractions die before they reach you. Lesson 6 will show you how to build a workspace that forces clarity, discipline, and deep concentration without using willpower. Don't miss it. Your environment is not just the place where you work. Your environment is a system that shapes your mind, your mood, your discipline, and your ability to focus. Most people try to improve their focus by changing themselves, but they ignore the one thing that influences their mind the most: the space around them. A chaotic environment produces a chaotic mind. A clean and intentional environment produces clarity, calmness, and concentration. Your brain is constantly scanning your surroundings, even when you're not aware of it. Every item on your desk, every notification light, every object in your field of vision occupies mental space. Clutter doesn't stay on your desk, it moves into your mind. Visual noise becomes mental noise. And mental noise is the enemy of deep focus. This is why it's almost impossible to concentrate in a messy room. Your brain has too many inputs competing for attention. Even if you don't consciously look at them, they drain your energy quietly. A focused mind cannot exist in a distracted environment. But the opposite is also true. A clean, minimal, intentional workspace can multiply your focus without effort. It reduces mental friction. It lowers cognitive load. It helps your brain enter deep focus faster. It gives your mind a sense of order and control. Designing a high-focus environment is not about aesthetics. It's about psychology. It's about engineering your surroundings to support the best version of your mind. Here's the truth. Your environment can either work for you or against you, but it never stays neutral. If your desk is full of distractions, your mind will be too. If your space is chaotic, your thoughts will be chaotic. If your environment is built for clarity, your thinking will become sharper automatically. The goal is simple: remove anything that steals attention and amplify anything that creates focus. Start with the desk. Your desk should hold only what you need for the task you're doing right now, not everything you might need someday. When your workspace becomes minimal, your brain enters focus faster because nothing is competing for your attention. Next, control the lighting. Lighting influences mood more than people realize. A single warm light, a soft lamp, or a focused spotlight creates a deep work atmosphere instantly. Your brain associates that lighting with concentration, and over time, the moment the lamp turns on, your mind automatically shifts into focus mode. Then, reduce digital noise. Turn off visual notifications. Hide unnecessary icons. Use full screen mode. Your devices should serve you, not interrupt you. Finally, add environmental triggers. Triggers are small elements that signal your brain. It's time to focus. This could be a certain chair, a specific scent, a warm light, a minimalist desk setup, or even the position of your notebook. Your brain learns these cues quickly. And once it learns them, focus becomes automatic, not forced. Here's your aha moment. Your environment is part of your discipline. It is an extension of your mind. People who struggle with focus often don't have a focus problem. They have an environment problem. Fix the space and the mind follows. Today's action step is simple but life-changing. Spend 10 minutes redesigning your workspace. Remove one thing that doesn't help your focus. Add one thing that improves your focus. Clean one small section. Adjust the lighting. Make your workspace a place your brain loves to work in. Do this daily, and your environment will transform, and so will your focus. In the next lesson, you'll discover the power of single tasking, why doing one thing at a time makes you faster, smarter, and far more effective than multitasking ever could. Lesson 7 might be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Don't miss it. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they divide their attention. They try to do too many things at once, and their mind becomes weak, scattered, and overwhelmed. Multitasking feels productive, but scientifically, it destroys your performance. Your brain was never designed to handle multiple tasks simultaneously. Every time you switch between tasks, you don't just lose time, you lose clarity, energy, and mental strength. Single tasking is the opposite of multitasking. It is the ability to give one task your full attention, your full presence, and your full mental power. And when you do that, your productivity multiplies. You think faster, you understand deeper, you make fewer mistakes, you finish tasks in half the time, and most importantly, your brain stays calm instead of exhausted. Your mind cannot operate at full power when it's being pulled in different directions. When you multitask, your brain is constantly switching, resetting, and recalibrating. That switching cost is huge, even if the switch is only for a second. Your brain has to restart the thinking process every time, and that drains your mental battery at high speed. This is why multitaskers feel tired, even when they haven't done anything meaningful. Their brain is burning energy trying to manage chaos. Their mind becomes a battlefield of half-finished thoughts. They lose flow. They lose presence. They lose power. But when you single task, everything changes. You give your brain permission to enter deep focus without interruptions. Your thinking becomes linear, clean, sharp. Instead of jumping everywhere, your mind moves forward with purpose. And with every minute you stay focused on one task, your mental stamina grows stronger. You start enjoying the process because your brain loves clarity. Your brain loves simplicity. Your brain loves direction. Here's the truth. Single tasking is not just a productivity technique, it's a life philosophy. It teaches you how to give your full attention to everything you do. It teaches you how to be present. It teaches you how to slow down the noise inside your head. When you focus on one thing at a time, you become more efficient and less stressed. You finish tasks faster. You think better. You remember more. You solve problems with fewer mistakes. And most importantly, you gain control over your mental energy. Think of your attention like a beam of light. When the beam is wide and unfocused, it's weak. But when the beam is narrow and direct, it becomes powerful enough to cut through steel. That is the power of single tasking. It turns your attention into a laser. Here is your aha moment. Multitasking is a lie. Your brain cannot do two things with full power. You only feel like you're multitasking because your brain is switching rapidly, and losing energy every time. Single tasking is how you reclaim your focus. It's how you rebuild your clarity. It's how you take your mind back. Here's today's action step. Choose one task you need to do today. Only one. Put everything else aside. Turn off notifications. Close all tabs. Set a 20-minute timer and commit fully to that single task. No switching, no jumping, just presence. When the timer ends, take a small break, then repeat. Just 2 or 3 single tasking sessions can produce more results than an entire day of multitasking. In the next lesson, you will discover how mental clarity is built, how to reduce internal noise, and how to strengthen the quality of your thoughts. Lesson 8 will show you the hidden connection between clarity and focus, and how powerful your mind becomes when you clean the space inside it. Don't miss it. Mental clarity is one of the most underrated powers of the human mind. Most people think focus is about forcing attention, but real focus begins long before that. It begins with clarity. A clear mind thinks better, decides faster, and focuses deeper. A cluttered mind, on the other hand, struggles with even the simplest tasks because the internal noise is too loud. You've experienced this before. Those days when your head feels full, when thoughts collide, when everything feels heavy for no obvious reason. That heaviness is not stress, it's mental clutter. And mental clutter destroys your ability to concentrate. Your brain works like a workspace. If your mental desk is full, your mind cannot operate smoothly. Each open thought, each unresolved worry, each small decision you've postponed stays active in the background, consuming mental energy. The more unfinished tasks you carry, the slower and weaker your thinking becomes. This is why people feel tired even when they haven't done much. Their energy isn't being spent on action, it's being drained by confusion. Clarity is what removes that confusion. Clarity simplifies your thoughts. Clarity reduces overthinking. Clarity removes internal friction. Clarity gives you direction. And when your mind has direction, focus becomes natural, not forced. Decision-making is deeply connected to clarity. When your mind is cluttered, decisions feel heavy. You hesitate more. You doubt yourself more. You avoid action because your brain can't choose a path. But when your mind is clear, decisions become lighter. Your thinking becomes sharper. You act faster because nothing is blocking the path in front of you. Here's the truth. Every decision you postpone becomes mental clutter. When you avoid a decision, you don't escape it. You carry it with you. It stays open in your mind like an unfinished tab on a computer. And just like too many tabs slow down a computer, too many open decisions slow down your mind. But clarity is not something you wait for. Clarity is something you create. You create clarity by reducing input. You create clarity by closing mental tabs. You create clarity by simplifying your environment. You create clarity by choosing fewer priorities. You create clarity by asking a simple question: what actually matters right now? That question alone can shrink hours of mental noise into a single point of focus. Here's your aha moment. Your mind is powerful when it's clean. Your mind is weak when it's crowded. If you want to focus deeply, you must first clear the space inside your head. Remove the unnecessary. Finish small tasks that drain you. Decide on the things you've been avoiding. And give your brain room to breathe. Here's today's action step. A mental reset ritual that takes just 3 minutes. Step 1. Write every thought that's bothering you on paper. Step 2. Circle the only one that matters right now. Step 3. Take a deep breath and commit to handling only that one. This simple ritual cleans the mental desk. It frees your brain from hidden pressure. It gives your mind clarity and direction. In the next lesson, you'll learn how momentum is built, how small, focused actions create massive results when repeated consistently. Lesson 9 will show you the psychology of forward motion and how it makes staying focused easier than ever. Don't miss it. Momentum is the hidden force behind all progress. People think success comes from motivation, but the truth is that success comes from motion, small, consistent, focused motion. When you take even the smallest step toward your goal, Your brain changes. Your confidence grows. Your clarity increases. Your focus strengthens. That small action becomes energy, and that energy becomes momentum. Momentum is powerful because it makes focus easier. Without momentum, every task feels heavy. You struggle to start. You hesitate. You overthink. You feel stuck. But once momentum begins, the resistance fades. You start feeling pulled forward instead of dragged. You move naturally. You gain rhythm. You gain speed. Your mind becomes aligned with your actions. The problem is that most people wait for motivation to begin. But motivation comes after action, not before it. Energy grows from movement, not from thinking about movement. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You don't need a perfect mood to start. You just need to move. Here's the truth most people never understand. A small, focused action done daily is more powerful than a huge action done once. Why? Because the brain is built to follow patterns. When you act consistently, your brain builds a pattern of forward motion. When you stop acting, your brain builds a pattern of hesitation and delay. Your brain follows whatever you repeat, momentum or stagnation. Momentum also protects your focus. The more you move, the easier it becomes to stay focused. Your brain enters a loop of action, reward, confidence, more action. This loop strengthens your discipline and makes deep focus feel natural. But when you break momentum, even for a day, the loop reverses, delay, doubt, distraction, mental noise. And suddenly, tasks feel harder again. This is why you feel amazing after a productive day, and why you feel heavy after a day of procrastination. Your brain learns from your behavior instantly. Momentum is not speed, it is consistency. It is better to work for 10 focused minutes every day than to work for 2 hours once a week. Small actions repeated daily become unstoppable. Here's your aha moment. If you want to stay focused, you must keep moving. Not fast, just consistently. Focus is easier when you are already in motion. It is harder when you remain still. Action clears the fog. Action removes fear. Action creates clarity. Action produces motivation. And action builds momentum. Here's today's action step, the simplest and most effective momentum builder. Pick one small task you can do today. Not a big task, not a complicated task. Just one small step that moves you forward. It could be writing one paragraph, reading one page, cleaning one part of your desk, studying for 5 minutes, or starting a timer for a tiny work session. Do that one task, and nothing more. Why? Because once you finish it, your brain gets a hit of progress. And that progress creates momentum. And tomorrow, you will move easier than today. In the next lesson, you will learn how to transform focus into a lifestyle, how to live with direction, purpose, and mental strength every single day. Lesson 10 is the final transformation of this entire series. Don't miss it. A focused life is not something you reach by accident. It is something you build day after day, decision after decision, action after action. Everything you've learned in this series, clarity, deep focus, momentum, environment, single tasking, all of it leads to one destination, a life where you are in control of your mind, not controlled by it. Most people drift through life without direction, not because they're weak, but because their attention is scattered. And a scattered attention creates a scattered life. But you are different now. You've learned how your mind works. You've seen what kills your focus and what strengthens it. You've experienced how small actions create momentum. You've understood how environment shapes clarity. And now, you're ready for the final shift. Focus must become your identity. Not something you try to do, not something you force, but something you are. A focused life begins the moment you decide that your attention is your most valuable asset. Because what you focus on grows. What you ignore fades. And what you concentrate on with intention defines who you become. A focused life is a simple life. Not easy, simple. Your goals are clearer. Your priorities are fewer. Your energy is directed instead of scattered. your decisions become lighter. Your confidence grows stronger. Your mind becomes quieter. And when your mind is quiet, you gain something priceless, inner power. The strength to stay calm in chaos. The strength to move forward even when motivation disappears. The strength to choose what matters instead of being pulled by everything that doesn't. The world is full of noise, endless noise trying to steal your attention. But a focused person becomes untouchable, not because they avoid the noise, but because they know how to stay centered inside it. Here's the truth. A focused life is built from habits, not inspiration. From small actions, not big promises. From daily alignment, not random motivation. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to move fast. You just need to stay consistent. When you live with focus, you stop surviving and you start building. When you live with focus, you stop reacting and you start creating. When you live with focus, you stop drifting and you start leading. Here's your final action step, the one that transforms everything. Choose your one priority for the next 30 days. Not 5, not 10, just one. Commit to it fully. Work on it daily, even for 10 minutes. Protect your focus like it's gold, and let momentum carry you. This will be your identity shift. The moment where you stop being someone who tries to focus and become someone who lives focused. This is the end of the series, but the beginning of your new life. A life of clarity, a life of discipline, a life of intention, a life of focus. You now have everything you need to live differently. The rest is your move.
Thank you for watching. If you're ready to upgrade your mind and build unshakable discipline, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. More powerful lessons are coming. Stay disciplined. Stay clarify.